Have you ever thought about why some people can gamble $100 once a year and be happy, while others develop an addiction that has them compulsively gamble to the point of emotional and financial ruin? But what if I told you that the reasons why some people get addicted to gambling has nothing to do with discipline, self-control, or intelligence? That would definitely surprise some of you. But if the reason that people get addicted to gambling isn't some form of moral or intellectual failure, what is it that drives people to the point of ruining their lives? One spin of the wheel at a time. The gambling landscape has changed drastically over the last few years, and the factors driving people to addiction have changed as well. But there are actually three main reasons that people get hooked to gambling, and I'm going to share them with you in this video. All three are important, but the one that I'm saving for last is why I think the younger that you are, the more likely it is that you'll be developing a problem. Listen, I'm an addicted gambler myself, and I hadn't even considered a few of these. So my hope is that if you better understand the risks, you can protect yourself from getting addicted. And I want you to do that by the end of this video. My name is Rob, and as mentioned, I'm a recovering compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and now I create content aimed at shedding light on the reality of gambling and gambling addiction. Now, I don't want you to do anything right now except listen to these reasons why people get addicted to gambling. But if by the end of this video you learned something new or you learned something that surprised you, smash that subscribe button and join our community to live a happier and more informed life. All right. Enough introducing the concept, let's just jump right into it. The first reason why some people get addicted to gambling revolves around their personality traits. Certain characteristics like being highly competitive, being a workaholic, impulsive, restless, or easily bored can really elevate the risk of developing a compulsive gambling problem. I can tell you that I fit all of those categories, even now. I saw gambling as my work during my addiction, and I was incredibly competitive with myself over it. No win was ever big enough for me. Impulsiveness is a pretty obvious one, as I would gamble constantly without thinking of the consequences. I'm still pretty restless, and I actually find it difficult to slow down my mind, so distraction to cure restlessness and boredom was also a major positive of gambling for me for a while. Or at least I used gambling as a way to try to fix it. Now, additionally, mental health issues like substance misuse problems, personality disorders, depression, or anxiety are often linked to compulsive gambling. Conditions like bipolar disorder, OCD, or attention deficit disorder, ADHD, may contribute to this behavior. I haven't been diagnosed with anything formally, but I had a former therapist tell me that I should get tested for ADHD. But again, when you're looking at something where your mind is constantly running, going to gamble to disconnect or center your focus seems like a really easy and attractive solution. In a twisted way, it was like entering a meditative state and zoning out completely. But when you snap back to reality, you're in debt and everyone around you is upset with you. Yeah, I'll be sticking to regular meditation. Now let's move on to the second reason that some people get addicted to gambling: family and genetic factors. If your family members or friends have a gambling problem, studies show that you're more likely to develop one as well. According to the American Psychiatric Association, gambling disorder is considered a behavioral addiction influenced by genetic predisposition. I don't really know if anyone in my family struggled with a gambling problem, but at the same time, it's one of the only addictions that can be easily hidden from those around you. So I'm not really even sure what to think. What I do know is that being from New Jersey and within driving distance to Atlantic City, I've been exposed to gambling influences for a very long time. But we're going to dive more into those a little bit later on. The dopamine system, responsible for feelings of pleasure, plays a really significant role in behavioral addiction. Dopamine's impact on the brain's reward system can lead to repetitive and problematic gambling behaviors, forming habits, or even addiction. When you develop an addiction of any sort, you're also developing a dopamine imbalance in your brain. Some people are prone to having higher or lower levels of dopamine and could be influenced more by unnatural shifts in dopamine, such as the massive spike of pleasure you get when anticipating a big win in the casino. For me, I became so hooked to that feeling that I didn't want to get pleasure from anywhere else. It just wasn't efficient, and it definitely wasn't as stimulating. But the good news is that dopamine baselines can naturally reset themselves. But again, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that later on in this video, and other ways to start to leave the chaos of gambling behind after I tell you the last reason why people get hooked. Now, in my opinion, today's age presents a massive problem for people, especially very young people. We're incredibly interconnected with technology, and our online environment is being carefully crafted to get us hooked to gambling and coming back for more after we even know we're hooked. The third reason that people get addicted to gambling revolves completely around environmental factors. Compulsive gambling is more common in younger and middle-aged people, with gambling during childhood or teenage years increasing the risk very significantly. People who start gambling under the legal age are 7 times more likely to develop an addiction. Now, with cryptocurrency casinos and a general lack of oversight in regulating them, We're seeing kids as young as 14 developing full-blown gambling addictions on slot machines, sports betting, and casino games. Not on video games or arcade games, but on the real deal. The influence of media, particularly the portrayal of gambling by favorite streamers of a young generation, is contributing to the desire to emulate those behaviors. So when kids see celebrities like Drake, Aiden Ross, and XQC gambling every single day online, it not only normalizes the activity and makes people think that gambling is what they should be doing, but it also makes them desire doing it. Think about a commercial with your favorite celebrity in it, and think about how it makes you more likely to do it with them promoting it. Like, for example, if Michael Jordan is wearing Nikes and you want to be more like your hero Michael Jordan, what type of shoes do you think that you're going to buy given the choice? As kids see people they look up to like Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, Vanessa Hudgens, Rob Gronkowski, or any of the other hundreds of celebrities pushing gambling apps right now, don't you think that will impact their view of going and signing up on a casino? Now, sure, the argument can be made that the commercials are for the adults and not for the kids. But then why are they being shown regularly during events that kids are watching? ESPN is owned by Disney, and they're releasing a sports book soon. I remember watching sports with my family on a nightly basis. Go Birds, still go Birds. But that was for the majority of my life. If every other commercial was pushing something, I was definitely more likely to see it as normal and use it. I mean, do you really think Bud Light would have become my beer of choice in college if they weren't the official sponsor of the NFL? Or do you think I would have looked to Geico for insurance if they didn't put out ads regularly during the MLB games? As consumers of media, we're much more prone to buy or use something if we keep seeing it. And if kids grow up surrounded by commercials telling them that gambling is cool, and they're anticipating the day that they can be normal and cool like everyone else like they see on TV, what do you think is going to happen to the rate of addiction? Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with some tangible steps you can take to stop gambling if you or someone you know is hooked to it. The 4 areas that I really focus on are time, money, access, and meetings. Let me dive into them just briefly. Time. Find alternatives for your time where you can feel productive. I wasted 6 good years of my life with my head stuck in my phone chasing a big win. When I found alternatives for my time, such as reading, writing, journaling, lifting, meditating, and making these videos, it allowed my brain to naturally reset its dopamine baseline, which took around 3 months, but now I can find pleasure in the normal things again that I used to enjoy before I started gambling. Next, money. Limit your access to the fuel for the fire. I had my family manage my bank accounts at first, and though it felt like it sucked, it actually helped me a lot because it got rid of the temptation to make a deposit on a sports book to try to dig my way out of debt, which, FYI, is actually a terrible idea. Next, access. Do self-exclusions to voluntarily ban yourself from casinos and make it more difficult for you to place a bet at all. I talked about this just recently in a video you can watch right here. And lastly, meetings. Go to support group meetings. There's a ton of power in talking to other people who understand the problem and finding out what works for them to stay away from it. You can use what's worked for them in your own strategy. There you have it. 3 key reasons why some people get addicted to gambling and others might not. Remember, understanding these factors is crucial in addressing and preventing gambling addiction for yourself and for loved ones. Just because you or someone you know is struggling right now doesn't mean that it has to be like that forever. I'm over a year clean, and I'm going to continue to share what's working for me in my recovery journey. All of that is going to happen one day at a time.